Hi Ashton, I'm going to be introducing Lesson 3 for Wordly Wise today on Quizlet. I'll provide the link for your list this week so you can practice. And again, there will be a quiz on Friday for your vocabulary ELA grade. Okay, let's get right to it. The first word on your list this week is abundant. If something is abundant, that means that you have more than enough or it's plentiful. The next word is arid. You may have heard that on commercials before. If something is arid, then it means it's having, if it's very dry, has very little or no rainfall. You see the picture of the desert there, that would be considered an arid climate. I always see it advertised on deodorant commercials because they are trying to tell you that they will help to reduce your perspiration. So they are helping to dry your armpits. Number 3 is the word distinct. If something is distinct, that means it's not the same. It's different or separate. But more commonly, I think we hear this definition. If something is unmistakable, then it's usually considered distinct. The next word is graze. We see animals around our part of the country doing that, feeding on growing grass. Animals like cows, deer tend to graze in the pastures around our area. It can also mean to touch lightly in passing. So if you're playing dodgeball and a ball just barely touched you, you might say that it grazed you, and that would still count as getting hit. The next word is hectic. Hectic means full of feverish activity, haste, or confusion. So a lot of times people might say, oh, I had such a hectic weekend, if they were trying to say how busy they were. Okay. Next up, the word is horde. A large group or crowd, especially one on the move. You could say there's a large horde of people at Disneyland when they were trying to get onto the ride. Okay, it's just a large group that moves together. The picture you see here is of a marathon. If you've ever seen someone run one of those, you know that they often start out in a large group and travel long distances together. The next word is one I'm sure you've heard of before, humid. If it's humid, then that means that there is a lot of moisture in the air. And it sometimes will make it seem hotter than the actual temperature is if there's a large amount of humidity in the air. The next word is incredible. And we use that word pretty commonly. Hard or impossible to believe. Some people just kind of think, the word, if something is credible, then that means it's believable. And if something's incredible, that means it's hard to believe. The next word on your list is inhabit. Inhabit means that someone lives in it or on it. So if you're talking about the planet Mars, we would say that nobody has been able to inhabit Mars yet, but hopefully someday maybe we can explore that as a possibility. The next word is peninsula. A peninsula is kind of like a piece of land that's connected to a larger land mass. So I always think of Florida. Florida is a peninsula because it sort of comes off the bottom of our country and is almost completely surrounded by water. It's not an island, but it's just kind of dangling off where most sides of that body of land are surrounded by water. A peninsula. Next is the word rural. If you live in a rural area, that means you are somewhat related to the country and the people who live there. So this is a picture of, could be right out our backyard here, right? We live in a rural area where there's lots of space between homes and lots of land that is not inhabited yet, to use another word from your list. The next word is sanctuary. Sanctuary can be a place of safety or shelter, or a place of protection offered by such a place. So it could be a noun or a verb. So you can take sanctuary. Actually, they're both nouns. So if you needed a safe place to stay, or if you were playing a game of tag and you needed like a home base, that might be your sanctuary, a safe place where you can't get caught. The next word is splendor. Splendor is magnificence, brilliance of appearance. So if something was very beautiful, you might say it's full of splendor, brilliance of appearance. The next word, squalor, means that there is filth or misery. So unfortunately, there are many people in our country and around the world that sometimes live in squalor. It might make you sad to see the way that some people, their living conditions are. That's called living in squalor, and it's not a very pleasant condition to live in. And sometimes it's just an unfortunate situation when people have to live like that. The last word is terrain. If you've ever heard of an all-terrain vehicle, an ATV, a four-wheeler, that means it's a vehicle that can go on any surface or type of land that there is. So it's an area of land or region, terrain, and an all-terrain vehicle means it can go on any of those terrains. So it can go on any surface in a region. Sand, mud, dirt, even a little bit of water is okay sometimes. So if we're talking about terrain, we're talking about the surface of the features of a region. All right, and that's your list for this week, Ashton. I'll be sending out the practice for those to go along with this week, and we will quiz on Friday. All right, good luck.